Hello, everybody. Welcome to our live stream. My name is Mark Fisher, and we are broadcasting this on both Scientology Peeling the Onion and also on my Las Vegas Travel and More channel. And I want to welcome back my co-host, Janis Gillham Grady. How you doing, Janis?
G'day, everybody. Good, Mark. It's nice to be home after long travels.
Yeah, we want to welcome everybody here along with Janis. Hi from Pennsylvania. Thank you very much. And we just want to let you know that this is a live stream, so you can ask questions. And if you write the word question, we'll star them and we'll ask them as we go along, and we'll pop up comments as well. But this is Janis's first video back since she got back from Africa a few days ago, and she needed some time to recuperate, right?
Oh man, it's a long flight. I thought going to Australia was bad. 16-hour flight, but going from Las Vegas to Atlanta to Johannesburg is even longer.
Tell everybody how you actually made the trip. I mean, like, how did it go, flying wise, and all that? Because it's halfway around the world. So, and it's also the southern hemisphere. So you're way down. It was cold down there, right?
Yeah, it was winter down there. But what didn't help is I was flying Delta, and they had a software problem during the whole crash at the airports. So the night before I'm supposed to travel, because you were going to come and pick me up and drop me off at the airport, because
Right.
I had an 11 a.m. flight or a 12 noon flight. Well, at 9 o'clock the night before I'm supposed to leave, I get this message saying, your flight to Atlanta has been canceled. I'm like, what?
That was Delta,
So,
right? Delta
yeah,
Airlines.
that was Delta. So I'm in a panic now trying to find a flight from Las Vegas to Atlanta to get me there for a 7 p.m. flight out of Atlanta.
Connection.
And there was no flights coming up. So I called Southwest and I said, you need to help me. I got to get to Atlanta. So she looked it up and she said, well, we're going to have to get you on one flight to another and then have you fly a whole new flight, not just a connection or a change plane or something. So she found if she put me through St. Louis, I could book another flight from St. Louis to Atlanta. And I got in at 5 o'clock. So instead of going back to bed, I end up repacking. I'm like, I can't take a suitcase that I check in. So I've got to repack into a carry-on bag now. So I'm leaving stuff out that extra clothes. Probably I didn't need them anyway because I just wore the same stuff. But I fit everything into a carry-on suitcase because I didn't want to have to. I got to Atlanta, when I got to St. Louis, I'd have to change my luggage over because there was no transfer. And then when I got to Atlanta, what if I arrived late and I couldn't get my baggage in time to get it over to Delta? So I just switched to a smaller suitcase. And then,
Your mic is breaking up because you're moving your hands.
oh, sorry.
There you go.
Anyway, so I then called someone else to come pick me up at 4 o'clock in the morning so I could make a 6 a.m. flight instead of a noon to get to St. Louis. I had like a 3-hour layover in St. Louis. And then I got to Atlanta on time. Now, Cheryl was supposed to meet me in Atlanta and be on the same flight.
This is Cheryl Detcheff, a friend of yours who lives in Portland.
Yeah, and we went to Greece together. We've done cruises together. We did a 7-week road trip together. Anyway, so she's going to meet me in Atlanta. And she goes to the airport and she's like, oh, my plane's on time. Everything's cool. Because she was thinking, oh, if Janis's is canceled. And her sister's was also messed up. And her sister ended up having to go from Las Vegas to Amsterdam to London to Johannesburg. And so Cheryl thought she was fine, but then their software didn't have all the flight attendants, the flight crew all there. So her flight ends up 2 hours too late. So I'm now sitting on my international flight out of Atlanta to Johannesburg as Cheryl Her flight arrives at Atlanta. So she's over in domestic, still on the plane, as I'm over in international on the plane going, the doors are closing.
Uh-oh.
You're not going to make it. So my plane takes off, and it's a 15 and a half.
Janice, your mic's breaking up again.
I hit it with my hand.
Okay.
Anyway, so I make it onto my flight for a 15.5 hour flight to Johannesburg. Cheryl didn't make it in the seat next to me, so I thought, oh, okay, I'll spread out on the two seats. But no, Delta flights have a, a stand in between that you can't move. So it wasn't a matter of lift up the arm and spread out on two chairs. So I put a blanket underneath and put my knees over it so that I could get some sleep. But anyway, so Cheryl then, I'm texting her from the plane, have them put you up in a hotel if they can't get you out. So
Janice, I need to call a timeout because your mic is going in and out. So just touch it or get it, so that you've got it, and then try talking again.
I'm not hearing it.
Okay, now you're fine.
Is that better? Okay.
Fine. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so she then makes them find her a hotel and rebook her flight. She ends up spending the night in Atlanta, catching a flight to Paris. And now I finally get to Johannesburg, and she hasn't even left for Paris. She finally arrives in Paris, and she's got 15-hour wait in Paris. And she's like, I was thinking of going into town. I'm like, no, the Olympics are going on. Stay away from town. So she had nowhere to go. So she pays for an upgraded ticket so she could go hang out in the lounge. Anyway, I get to Johannesburg, and I meet up with Cheryl's sister and her niece and her cousin. And, there was 9 of us on this trip. So we all spend the night at this cute little hotel, Rock Art Hotel, about 20 minutes from the airport. So we spend the night there, get a good night's sleep. And then that next morning, we catch a flight from Johannesburg to Zimbabwe. Now, Zimbabwe used to be Rhodesia. And I've always been familiar with Rhodesia because that's where Kimma Douglas was born, and Hannah Eltringham, Hannah Whitfield. So anyway, so we fly on a medium-sized plane on South Africa Air to Zimbabwe, up to Victoria Falls, which is a rinky-dink little town. You blink, you miss it. And Cheryl's still stuck in Paris. And anyway, so she arrived 2 nights after everyone else had gotten there. Now, Mike Laws, when he got there, he had trouble with his plane. He had like a 20-hour delay. And then when he got to Johannesburg, his suitcase didn't show up. And he left before us, and he went on to Cape Town, and his suitcase didn't show up. So he went shopping and had to go buy clothes. And the funny thing is, when he came back, he had 2 suitcases that he'd purchased with gifts and new clothes, because his suitcase still didn't show up, and it was being tracked going to Nashville and then all sorts of places, and then Johannesburg, but it wasn't there. Mike's now home with these 2 new suitcases that first were missing, and finally they showed up, but his original suitcase still hasn't showed up.
Oh my gosh, so all the clothes that are still in there, who knows where they are?
Oh yeah. But he got a whole new wardrobe.
There you go.
Anyway, so anyway, we get up to Victoria Falls, and Denise, who is Cheryl's sister, she had been to Zimbabwe 2 years ago, and she'd connected up with a group that does mentoring for kids. They're like high school kids, and they're mentors, and they've got several different groups and houses around Zimbabwe and Zambia. So we went to one of the houses and met all the kids, and we had to say, how we thought and how we think. And I said, I believe in myself. And then I walk into one of and they all started clapping for me. And then we walk into one of the rooms, and up on the wall it says, "Believe in yourself." So anyway, they were cute. They were great, and ambitious kids, wanting to get out of the world of poverty and make something of themselves. But it was interesting talking to them because they have so little experience of the real world, and one of the boys was saying, well, I want to become a chef. Oh, well, what do you like to cook? All he really knew how to cook was soup. But one of the mentors was teaching him how to bake bread. So, there's a lot of work to expand these kids' view of what you can cook and, make with an oven or with a stove and so forth. But anyway, it was fun to just talk to these kids and get where it's at. And we drove through, their little towns, and where they're actually building some decent houses. But they have in South Africa, they've actually had rolling blackouts for about 5-6 hours a day, and which has affected a lot of people on trying to work and get jobs. Or one guy with his own barber shop, it cuts into his work because he has no power to do anything. Anyway, so that was just some interesting things. But we get up to Zimbabwe, and we went to Victoria Falls for the sunrise. And that's a photo of me at where one of the falls are. And yeah, the sun's just coming up. And they have a walkway where you just walk right along, and you can just watch the other side where all the falls are. And I hadn't realized that Dr. Livingston, I presume. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I hadn't realized this is where he was.
Yeah.
And they even have a big statue of him at the entranceway into Victoria Falls. And then when you cross over into Zambia, the town there is called Livingston. And so I just kept thinking back to when I was a kid watching the movie, of Dr. Livingston. So, anyway, so that was news to me.
Now, let me ask you a question. So when you walk on that walkway, you get wet, right? I noticed you were wearing a raincoat. Is that right?
Yes, you get wet because of all the mist, heavy mist coming up from the falls going down. And
this is a beautiful picture. This is sunrise as well, obviously, because
all these ones are sunrise.
You had to get up pretty early then to go there.
Yeah, we did, because we got there by 6:30, and we were the first people in there, so it was great.
Gregory says Livingston is cheaper and less crowded than Victoria Falls. I'm sure.
Yeah. Gregory. Hi, Gregory. I was in touch with Gregory the whole time I was down there. We were WhatsApping to each other, and I would tell him where I was, and he would give me suggestions and stuff like that. So
that's great.
Yeah,
well,
nice to see you here. Yeah.
And I got.
Yep, there's our group. There was 9 of us.
Cheryl did not make it there, though, right? Cheryl
no,
didn't make it.
That's 8 of us because we're missing Cheryl. She didn't get to see Victoria Falls with us. But directly behind me, that's Mike Laws, and the left side of the picture are his 2 sons. The front one was born in the Sea Org, and the other one, Mike's wife was pregnant with him when they left the Sea Org and were sent to Dallas Org as a command team because they had kids after the flag order. So that's how they grew up in Dallas, and then they moved to Australia. And so Mike paid for them to come over and meet him in South Africa and do this trip with us.
That's great.
Yeah. And then in where I am, I'm there in the pink raincoat. In the white raincoat next to me, that's Denise, Cheryl's sister. And in front of her with her head over, that's Michelle, Cheryl's niece, Denise's daughter. And then the lady with the glasses in the front is Denise and Cheryl's cousin, Judy. And then in the blue jacket, that's Susan, who is a friend of Denise's. And so that's our group, except for Cheryl.
That's great. When did Cheryl actually arrive?
Cheryl arrived the next day, or hang on. Yeah, the next day she had to have arrived.
And did she join you there in Victoria Falls or
yeah, we were in Victoria Falls. Oh, actually, it was that day because she missed the first night in Victoria Falls. We went to the sunrise, and then when we got back from that day's excursions, Cheryl was at the hotel waiting for us. Yeah.
Okay, and then I jumped ahead on these photos. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, this is good because the next day we went to an elephant sanctuary. And this was where these elephants had all been orphaned. And so they took them into the sanctuary and they formed their own families of, different age elephants and so forth. And, took on foster kids and that foster elephants. And that was incredible going there because these elephants are used to being around humans, and they do school programs every Friday. School kids could come in. And they had baboons running around and so forth, but they put us into a truck and drove us out to where the elephants were. And they had guides there to make sure we were safe. And we were allowed to go and actually pet these elephants.
Yeah, I've got pictures there.
They're absolutely huge. I guess probably around 10, 11 foot tall.
Yeah, these are bigger than Asian elephants. I've seen Asian elephants in Thailand and different places there, and they're a smaller breed of elephant. But these African elephants, look at you.
Yeah, look,
you standing.
I'm teeny.
Well, Janis, you're almost 5. Let's say you're 6 feet tall. That elephant is over 12 feet. That's probably 15 feet tall. I mean, look at how tall.
Yeah. I know. I'm not even 6 foot. I'm 5'5".
I know. So it's got to be like 15 feet tall. That's huge.
Yeah. But it was great. I mean, it was like just an amazing experience being there with them. And yeah, there I am patting him, and there's one of the guides to make sure I was safe. And people, every day people are coming in and patting these guys, and at the end, we all got to feed them. They brought a bucket of food in, and we all got to feed them through their trunk or directly into their mouth. So
they'd grab the trunk, they'd grab the food with their trunk and then eat it like you handed it to
them?
Yeah,
you put it into their trunk and then they'd put it into their mouth. Hey, look, just a quick interruption here. I have some guests staying with me.
Oh, yeah?
Remember Candy Swanson and Bent Corridon?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, guys.
Hi, Candy.
Aloha. Can you see?
Aloha.
Put on the glasses so you can see.
Bent, if you drop down.
Drop down.
There we go.
There we go. That's Bent Corridon and Candy Swanson, everybody.
So glad you made it home safe all in
one
piece.
Yeah, they've come to stay with me for a couple of days. Yeah.
Yeah, and we did a couple interviews with Candy. Bye, Candy.
We did a couple of interviews with Candy, and Bent wrote a book. Messiah Madman. I actually have it up on my bookshelf right now. Well, Candy's getting it.
I saw it this morning.
Yeah, this is Bent's book.
Yeah, he wrote that. He was the mission holder for the Riverside Mission in Scientology for years, and then
which was one of the biggest Scientology missions. Yeah. But he wrote this book with L. Ron Hubbard Jr. and with Sarah, right? Yeah.
Sarah Northrop. Hubbard's
the second wife that doesn't exist.
Right.
All right. Yeah. Anyway, they just
Good to
wanted
see
to
you
pop
guys.
in and say hi.
See you later.
Bye.
Whoa, doggy.
All right. Sorry about that.
That's
Well,
okay.
not sorry. I hope everyone likes saying hello to them.
Oh, absolutely. Anyway,
Yeah.
back to you. You were at the big elephant sanctuary or whatever. And that was in Zambia, or was that in Zimbabwe?
No, that was in Victoria Falls in
Oh,
Zimbabwe.
okay. Okay.
Yeah. And they even put on it afterwards. We came back and they put on a breakfast for us, and we got to sit there and watch the baboons running around. And
You just brought up a good subject. How was the food? I mean, what was the food like that they were feeding you?
oh, everywhere we went, I had good food. It was actually impressive. We did a sunset cruise our first night, which Cheryl missed. And we got to see hippos in the water. You think it's logs and then they stop moving.
Mhm.
And elephants and a crocodile and that type of thing. And it was on a boat going down the river. And I had ostrich for dinner. And it was actually very good. I was like, okay, I'm in Africa. I at least have to try something African. So I had ostrich.
So did it taste like chicken? Like everybody always says, oh, it tastes like chicken.
No, it didn't taste like chicken, but
I'm joking.
yeah, I know. But it had more of a steak type of texture feeling to it, not a chicken.
Okay, Gregory's got a question here for you. Did you try mopape worms or kawaenta?
No, no, I did not.
I don't know what those are. If you get in the chat, Gregory, tell us what they are.
Yeah, but I did learn, speaking of bugs or whatever, I did learn when we went out on safari, there was these big termite hills that reminded me like of Australia out in the bush. Big, 3-4 foot tall hills of termites. And our guide was telling us that that's a native food where they eat the termites. They cook them up, just fry them up, and it's good protein.
Popcorn.
Yeah, but I didn't try it.
Okay, so one other question about the food though. So did they serve you like, eggs and bacon in the morning, or was it something different, or
Yeah, it was
steaks, or what was the food like?
Most breakfasts we had, like at the hotels, were very much an English breakfast of eggs, bacon, sausage, and a fried tomato.
Yeah.
And some had potatoes.
And then for dinner, what would you have? Like, would it just be like, if you were going to food here, or what?
Well, we were in different places. When we were out on safari, we would come back and there's like a white tablecloth with candles going. And it was really nice out there in the bush, sitting in this open lodge.
Yeah, we'll show those pictures here in a minute.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Gregory says koa enta is dried fish and reeks. Mopane worms are massive grub worms. Fried flying ants are great. Hey, listen, it's, when you're in a country, and that's what there is to eat, people eat it. They find different things to eat,
Exactly. What was it? Someone, I did a post on Facebook because we got to go to a local's house in a village.
Mm-hmm.
In just outside in Monday, I think was the name of the village. And you drive down these dirt roads and you see big plots of land, and it wasn't a house on it, but it was these little round huts. And you might find like 5 round huts on one property, and each hut is like a different room. And we don't have the photos in here, but no. we went there, and the first thing we see is this hole with this black plastic in it and some not cables, but hoses coming out of it. Well, this guy had set up where he puts cow manure inside there and adds some water and gets methane gas. And the hose goes over to his winter kitchen. He has 2 kitchens. One's a summer and one's a winter kitchen. So the hose goes over to his winter kitchen where he's got a little propane gas type stove in there. And it's a winter kitchen because the walls go up higher to the thatch. And there's just this teeny little window for, I guess, to let the smoke out or whatever. And it's warmer in there. Then when you go over to the summer kitchen, which is also another little round hut, the walls are lower and there's seats all around for everyone to sit there. And then there's a fire in the middle, and under the fire is a metal plate, and you lift that up and it's a Dutch oven under there. So they could cook bread or whatever underneath the fire. And I found this fascinating. And then he had these chickens that were each in their own little thatched huts, and they don't eat the eggs. He just has the eggs hatch and become more chickens so that they can eat chicken rather than the eggs. I guess one chicken feeds more people than one egg.
But as you well know, one chicken can produce lots of eggs, right?
Only one a day. So here, if they're doing one a day, you can that's one chicken a day once it gets old enough to eat.
Oh,
so
that's true.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So you ready to go ahead?
Yeah. Anyway, it was just fun to go and see the houses and how they actually lived, and when we come back another time, I'll show those photographs of the village.
Okay. So next we've got the plane to the safari, right?
Yeah. So by this time, Cheryl's now with us, and we go to the Victoria Falls airport, and the president of Zimbabwe was in town, and twice we ran into his motorcade, and I got a photo of a video of the motorcade passing us, and you can hear someone say to me, "You're not allowed to film. You're not allowed to film." But I just moved out from hanging out the window and kept filming and got the motorcade. And then when we got to the airport, the motorcade's sitting there out on the tarmac, and we went by there. And some woman, asked us if we were enjoying Zimbabwe. Apparently, she was the president or the vice president's wife. And anyway, so we got to our little plane, which I guess
you actually made more contact with government officials, high-ranking, than L. Ron Hubbard did in the 1960s, when Zimbabwe was Rhodesia, and you were just out at the airport.
Yeah, well, no, Hubbard did. I think it was Ian Smith. Hubbard did get to meet him because I've got a photo of that somewhere.
But then he was rejected after that. They wouldn't let him anywhere near.
Yeah, and I actually didn't get to meet the president, but I asked somebody. They said, "Oh, the president comes up about once a month. The country is in trouble, and he comes up here once a month because Victoria Falls is a cash cow." And so he comes up to collect that money so I don't know what happens to the money. I'm not going there. But anyway, we walked past the motorcade, got into our little plane, which was a 10 to 12 seater plane. And it was about a 40-minute flight. And then it was a 2 to 3 hour drive from the airport out to our camp. So
it's just a little propeller plane, right? Yeah.
Little propeller plane.
How was the flight? Were you nervous at all? How was the flight?
No, it was uneventful. It was, we all just climbed in. Everyone had to bend over to get in and find their seat. You couldn't stand up on it. And looking down, it's like so dry, and you can see where they'd set up water holes to pump water for the animals. Otherwise, a lot of them be dead. And it's very dry. But this is the airport terminal.
This is the terminal?
This is the terminal. The one on the left is, it's got a bench there that people can sit on and wait. And the other one, I guess that's just another little shelter shed. And then I have a picture. I did a video of the bathroom, where I'll have to show that when you have time to download the video. but I did a video going in there, and it's a cute little setup, and it's windows with a view. There's no windows; it's just cut out, and you can look out at the airstrip while you're doing your business.
Hey, that's camping, roughing it.
Exactly.
So this is
So
like what
anyway,
the trucks were like, right?
yeah, there's some better pictures of that, but here we are climbing in or out of it. But it's like an old Toyota truck, and the bed has been turned into seats.
Yeah.
And it's so cold there that in the morning, our first morning there, we're like freezing cold, and we go out there and we find blankets and a hot water bottle. And so as we're driving out on safari, we got a hot water bottle in our lap, and we got blankets on us. And then they have these ponchos that are padded ponchos, because it's winter.
Yeah. Keep it warm.
And we were kept very warm. And yeah, so it's seats put in the bed of a Toyota truck. And this is what a lot of the scenery looked like. And there's other photos I'll show, which shows trees and things. But, from the movies as a kid, I always pictured Africa as the jungle. And I've been to North. Yeah. I've been to North Africa, Morocco and so forth.
Right.
But this reminded me, it was more desert type of bush.
Yeah.
Very bushy. And with it being winter, of course, everything's kind of brown. And so we were driving 2 to 3 hours from the airport, and this is what we were seeing along the way, which was exciting, spotting a giraffe and then seeing some zebras and stopping and waiting for them. And we finally arrive.
Well, I was going to ask you a couple questions. Questions first. So when you're driving, I take it it's pretty bumpy.
Yes.
Yeah.
The closer you are to the driver, the less bumpy, and the very back ones is we were like, okay, we have no other exercise except for bouncing around.
Okay, and then my other question for you was, like you said, it looks very dry and desolate, but then this is like natural habitat. Like, I don't know about you or anybody or our viewers, but I've been to like an African safari park in the United States, and it's a preserve, right? So like it looks similar like that, but all the animals are there kind of, they're there because man moved them there. But this is out in the wild where you are, right? In other words, I want everybody to understand that. In other words, these animals are living where they normally live, right?
Yeah. This is thousands and thousands and thousands of, acres or miles or whatever you want to call it, that is their natural habitat. And it's concessioned to this company who take care of it. And you go out there, you don't even find the Coke bottle that fell from the sky.
They pick everything up, in other words.
Except for, somewhere out there is a water bottle. Because one of the days, I've got my water bottle and it was getting too hot and I put it in my back. And then later on, I'm like, where's my water bottle? And I was sitting at one of the back seats, jolting around. And we searched the truck. We couldn't find my water bottle. So the guide and I, every day, he was going to issue me a fine for my water bottle. Which is somewhere out there. And I figured a baboon probably got it and took it up into a palm tree or something. But yeah, you don't even find a Coke bottle or a wrapper or anything like that. I mean, it is just animals out there and nature, no civilization.
Okay, now, before we get to your tent and show where you stayed and all that sort of thing, we don't have pictures we just have another picture of animals or a couple, right? But what animals did you actually see out there in the Sahara, in the desert or whatever? I mean, you saw elephants, of course. What else did you see?
Elephants, zebras, giraffe, baboons, lots of baboons and lots of elephants. We then found a pride of 15 juvenile lions, and we actually drove up to them, and they were all snoozing away, and we're sitting there in the truck. And per the guides, they're like, they just see the truck as this big thing that's bigger than them. And so they just leave it alone. But if you step out of that truck, they will see you as food. You put your arm out of that truck, they'll see that as food. So you just stay within the truck and take photos, and they just ignore you and keep
How close
going
did you
about.
get? How close did
We
you
had,
get from the line?
we had, well, we're sitting there, and it's like you look down, and one gets up, and he's walking around, and he's about 1 or 2 feet off the back of the truck. And then another one gets up, a line, yeah. And then another one gets up and wanders, and he's in front of the truck. And so you got these lines within feet of where you're sitting in your truck, and you just know to be quiet and don't get out.
Yeah. You don't want to be dinner.
No, you don't want to be dinner.
Okay,
No.
so let me ask. So did the guides have rifles or guns? I mean, like, how, did they have protection for you guys in case?
Yeah, they did. We went out in 2 trucks. Out my truck, I was with a guide that was not as experienced as the other one, and the other one had the actual rifle right there next to him, and but it was kept in its case. But when we did a walking tour, where we actually went out there into the bush, and he had us go in single file with him with the rifle in the front. I'll show you pictures of this next week. And then the other guy in the back with the walkie-talkie. And it was funny. They took a photo of all of us on their little iPad, and left the iPad behind. And we're like, oh, is that if we all disappear, here's the evidence of who was here. But
okay. So
yeah.
hold on. So you did lions, cheetahs, right?
Yeah, we with 2 cheetahs, and we watched them fail a takedown of a zebra. The zebras.
Oh, must have run fast though, right? Were they running fast?
Well, they were getting ready to, and then it was like the zebra spotted them too soon, and yeah, so that didn't work. And
how about hippopotamus or rhinoceros?
Oh yeah, we saw rhinos and hippos. Well, the hippos you just kind of see in the water. They look like logs. And then the rhinos, there was a rhino and a baby that were mostly in the water. And then one of them actually was out of the water. You could see how pink it is. And yeah, so that was interesting.
Gregory has a comment. Lions will run away if you throw stones at them. Most cases, the lions won't bother you. You mostly cheat as the best avoid. They are more dangerous. The cheetahs, probably.
Oh, the cheetahs.
The cheetahs are more dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah. That there's no stones there to throw. There was elephant dung, lots of elephant dung everywhere, but no stones.
Okay, so now let's get to where you stayed. Okay, so I got pictures here.
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
so this is us. No, I put that there just to show that's us. That's us driving up to the camp.
Okay.
And being greeted by. They had like about 30 employees who work at this camp that we went to. And there's about 10 tents. And in the middle was the lodge, which was, 3-walled lodge and then open up to the bush. And our tents were...
I put these pictures up here. So this is in the lodge?
Yeah, this is in the lodge. As soon as we arrived, this guy was giving us all drinks to help cool us down, because it was hot now. We didn't need the blankets and water bottles at this point.
I got it.
But so that was nice, having a nice drink. And here's, the side view of just out into the bush. And I don't have it in this collection, but looking out the front or the back of the lodge, it's open. and the elephants are all out there in a big watering hole. So you can sit there on this patio and watch the elephants and the zebras and the baboons all go and drink. And yeah, and then this is the front of my tent. And it's a canvas tent with wooden doors and like fly screen windows. Yeah, well, it's on a cement pad. But and you can roll down the windows, the window coverings. And this is just some tree stumps that are there separating from the neighbor's tent. It's kind of more like a sound barrier. But going between the tents in the morning, you'll see elephants have been through there and the baboons and that type of thing. And at nighttime and in the morning, you are not allowed to go to your tent without a guide. And once you're in your tent, you have to stay there until it's light.
And why is that?
And that is because you don't know what's wandering out there. and so you'll hear elephants during the night or the baboons. And on our last night, we got escorted to our tent and we're inside. Cheryl and I were inside, and I hear a lion roar. And then we hear a baboon probably telling everybody the lions are here. And then after we go to sleep, probably around 1 a.m, we wake up hearing a roar from the lions again. And then we were in tent number 6. And in the morning we were told the 15 juvenile lions were camped out for the night by tent number 9. So just 3 tents down from us is where they spent the night on our last night there. Anyway, this is a view through the window. This is the beds. You walk in and there's the beds, and then you got some cabinets to the right with a little safe if you have some valuables. And then on the left, there's a chair and glasses and ice cold water kept in a pitcher all day long.
And there's no air conditioner or heating or anything, right?
No, there is a fan by the front door that you can turn on. And at nighttime, they actually have a hot water bottle in your bed. So you're freezing cold, but the hot water bottle definitely warms it up.
That's nice.
And then this is on the other side of the beds. This is the bathroom sink. And then behind that is a toilet, which has got a wood branches as a wall to give semi-privacy to the toilet. And then on the other side of the tent is the shower. That's the shower.
Is that outdoor shower? In other words, there's no roof over it, right?
Yeah, it's in the tent. So there's a roof.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in the tent. So is the toilet.
Do you get hot water, like a hot shower?
Yeah, it was instant hot water. So there must have been a heating thing underneath. Yeah.
And then what?
And then this here is a horn. If there's no phones or any electricity, well, there is electricity because we had lights in our tent. But if you needed anyone in the middle of the night with an emergency, you blow that horn. You just push a button, and apparently, if you do that, not one person comes, but everyone comes running. So, yeah, Cheryl was telling me she heard from someone that one of the guests, not in our group or at our camp, but at a different camp, one of the guests had sleepwalking issues. And he actually, I'm sorry.
Not my dog.
Both of mine. Anyway, he actually sleepwalked and didn't tell anyone out of his tent and ended up getting eaten. And the guy got fired But then when they investigated and found out this was a common thing for the guy to sleepwalk, they then rehired him. But yeah, if anything happens to any of the guests, those guides are in trouble.
I'll bet. I'll bet.
Yeah.
And then so you get up in the morning and then they feed you and then you go back out and look at animals and then come back, that type of thing?
Yeah, they feed us and they feed us and they feed us. Breakfast, that we have breakfast out on the patio of the lodge, and he cooks it there on a fireplace with pancakes and bread rolls and scrambled eggs, and then when we go out on safari, and then they set up a little table with a tablecloth and they pull out cookies and tea and coffee.
Wow.
And so you have that mid-morning, then you go back to the camp and you get lunch, and then you hang out for a few hours just relaxing, and then it's afternoon tea time, and then there's little cakes and chicken fingers or whatever, and then you go out on safari again and you're out there for the sunset, and they set up another table, and and this time the alcohol comes out to go into the coffee. And then
I was going to say, do they have alcohol or drinks or anything like that, or is it just water?
At the sunset high tea time.
I see.
And so then you stand around eating and drinking, watching the sunset and the animals getting their last drink and going off for the night. And then you get back into the truck, and it's like an hour drive back to camp, and you're freezing cold, bumping along, and then you get back to camp and you get dinner, with candle lit or barbecue or whatever. It was a great experience.
All right, now I want to show this photo because this is a cool photo here that we've got here, right?
Yeah, yeah.
This is the veranda.
Yeah, that's my favorite photo. That's of me taking a photo of the elephant, because there's the big watering hole where everybody goes, and you can see that in the back. And then closer to the actual veranda to the lodge is a round pool of water, and the elephants will come over to there and the babies will play in it and so forth. And I was taking a picture of that when this elephant turned around and started walking towards me. So I'm taking a picture of this, and then someone else, Susan, goes, "Hey, what a great photo." So she then snaps this picture of me photographing the elephant coming right at me. But
I told Janis that I joked saying, "Oh, look at it, it's TR0." You know what I mean? Be there and confront.
Exactly.
The elephant, you and the camera.
I think he was testing me to see, am I going to back down or not? And I didn't. I stood my ground while he was coming closer.
Was this in the morning or afternoon, or when was this?
That was an afternoon. That was during one of our afternoon teas or lunch or something, Another time they were feeding us.
Okay. So this question just came from Pamela Crawford. Thanks for being here, Pamela. Question: I'm in a wheelchair. Do you think it is possible for someone in a wheelchair to do this?
Wow. No, I don't. Because you have to climb into those trucks. Now, they probably would let you sit in the front seat with the guide, but everything is dirt road and bumpy. And then going to your tent, it's like you're walking in deep sand. So I don't know how a wheelchair would work on sand. Unless the best thing is, why don't you ask? Because maybe they have something set up for that. I don't know. But if you can go and they do have something like that, go do it. Don't pass this opportunity up.
Now, Gregory says, Pamela, hell yeah, will be complicated and you will be tossed around. I am disabled, but use crutches. It can be done. Well, there you go.
Okay. There you go. Thanks, Greg.
And Pamela answers back, oh, yeah, sand is a no-go. Well,
yeah.
With a wheelchair, I would think so. But anyway.
But I'm sure there's people that have tried and they probably got something set up. This is 2024.
Yeah.
Very different to Dr. Livingston days.
That's right. Okay, now I'm going to show a picture. This is explain what this is. You guys are in front of
Yeah,
an old tree.
we were coming back, I guess, from Zambia and crossed back over into Zimbabwe. And this tree, they've got a fence around it so that it could keep going. But that makes, the tartar cream or the tartar powder that is part of cooking. You use tartar to make tartar.
Yeah.
That comes from that tree.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Didn't it say, though, like it was like 1,200 years old or something?
Yeah, it's 1,200 years old. That's correct. Wow. Yeah.
That's cool. So how many days were you out there, in the tents?
Total of 4 nights.
And then did you did the same trip back with the airplane and?
Yeah, we got up early in the morning, like we had to leave by 7:00. And so we climbed in with our water bottles into the truck, and it was like a 2 to 3 hour drive to the airport. And we sat there and waited for the plane to come in, and 2 people went for a walk. We're at the airport and they went for a walk. I posted it on Facebook. I'm like, what not to do?
Well,
no, it wasn't.
It wasn't?
No, but it was one of Mike's sons who did it. But he went for a walk, and they're walking down this road, and you can see elephants at the watering hole at the end of the runway. And I snapped a picture of the 2 of them walking away. I'm like, what not to do and how to piss off the guides. And one of the guides is like, what are they doing? And, I'm sure she was thinking, oh, I'm going to lose my job if a lion jumps out of the bush or an elephant charges them or whatever. Anyway, so I yelled down to him, and the guide starts running down there, and they came back safe.
That's good. And Lenny Freeman is here. Hi, Lenny. Now, thanks for being here. Good thing you didn't bring moose and squirrel.
No, they stayed home. There's moose in the background, and squirrel's right here.
Rocky.
Rocky wanted to get his head scratched.
That's right. So one other last question. I'm sure this is maybe a little obvious, but not, because you're down in South Africa. Do they speak English down there? The guides and all that, right? They all speak English?
Oh, yeah. I mean, English is the main language spoken down there. The people speak the language of their tribes, but they also speak English. They speak more languages than me. I only know how to swear in different languages, where they have full vocabulary of their own native language and English.
Right. You don't want to be a Moroccan and hear Janis swearing at you.
Right.
Okay, Janis. So out of the jungle safari or desert plains and into civilization, where are you here? Where'd you guys go?
I'm in Cape Town there. After Victoria Falls, we flew down to Cape Town. It was a 3-hour flight. Mm-hmm. And we stayed there for, again, 4 days. But it was only 4 of us that did that, because Mike and his boys stayed longer in Victoria Falls. And Denise and her daughter Michelle stayed because they were going to do some mentor stuff with the little clubs that are there. And Denise is very involved in, getting investors or donations to help these clubs with the mentors and working out programs to help improve their lives and get scholarships for the kids and stuff like that. And that was a great connection she has from her involvement in that. But so she stayed there, and Cheryl and I, Judy and Susan, flew down to Cape Town. So the 4 of us girls we went to the Cape of Good Hope, and we went and saw the penguins down at Boulder.
I'll show you the pic. We're so pictures.
Yeah, okay.
You don't have to get ahead of yourself. Where are you at here?
That looks like a marketplace. Yeah. And that's down by the Cape of Good Hope.
And so everybody who doesn't know, the Cape of Good Hope is the southernmost point of the continent of Africa, and it's where the Atlantic Ocean meets the Indian Ocean.
Yeah, and it was so calm. And I'd always heard, the stories of the shipwrecks down there and the fear of the sailors going around the Cape. But we had great weather that day. It was very calm.
This is that area too. Same.
No, well, this is over by the Penguins at Simontown.
African
And
penguins, right?
African
African
what?
penguins. Penguins.
Yeah, yes. And they were cute. I got videos, wobbling along with their wings kind of flapping. One of them, I didn't get it on video. I turned it off and then he fell.
Well, we will show some of those videos next week. We didn't have time to put them
Yeah.
together, but we will show some of those, right? And then
Yep.
where's this?
That's we went to two different wineries. I don't drink wine, but Cheryl and Susan had a good time tasting wine.
Well, that's
And
not what I
Cheryl
heard.
ended-
Look at this. I mean, isn't that you between two wine bottles?
Yeah, that is me. What as I'm watching Cheryl and Susan drink away, and then I tasted one of them. I'm like, ugh. I just don't get along with wine. I've never liked the taste of it.
Me too. I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Gregory says, you were exceptionally lucky. The weather was good, flooding a few days before you arrived. That's
Yeah, it was good weather.
good. Okay. And then this is more at the Cape of Good Hope. Sorry, these are a little
Yeah,
bit
that's behind me is the tip of the Cape, but you can see how calm that water is.
Yeah,
And that's the
good
four of
water.
us girls. Yeah.
Cape of Good Hope. And then same, right? That's
There-
what the
yes,
thing-
same. Yep.
Now, this baboon photo was there. Were there baboons there too? Because I heard that, right?
Yeah, there's baboons all over the place, up in Zimbabwe and down in South Africa, in Zambia. The baboons just, they're crossing the bridge from Zimbabwe to Zambia. They're hanging out on the side of the road wherever they want to be. The baboons kind of control it, And
Did they
this
come
one was
up to you
cute.
guys and try and get food or no?
No, they didn't, but they do that. Apparently, you cannot send your child to the store to get bread because they will take it from the child.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, some can be aggressive, but the ones in town go through the trash. The ones out in the bush, they hang out. They're very peaceful with the local elephants and everything like that.
Okay, speaking of baboons, what's this?
This is a husband daycare. This was in the mall in Cape Town, down by the Victoria and Alfred Hotel. We went there to watch the sunset and have some drinks. But I just thought it was kind of cute where you can drop your husbands off at the daycare. It doesn't cost anything. And then you can go shopping. The wives can go shopping through the mall while the husbands are in the daycare having a drink or two.
That's funny.
Yeah. And this is the four of us in front of Table Mountain.
And that's a famous landmark down there, right? In Cape
Yeah,
Town?
that is. And then the clouds will come down and they call that the tablecloth. And yeah, there we are in front of Table Mountain. We went up to Signal Hill where I posted a picture on Facebook. They had these hang gliders going off the mountain. And
Yeah.
I set up I saw the sun rays coming down, and I had an idea when I saw this
I have that.
hang glider
Yeah,
take
so
it off.
let me show that in a few minutes, okay? Let's talk about this photo first. That's
Okay.
a cute idea. That's an actual frame, and it says table whatever. And you just
Yeah.
stand on it, and then you see the table. That's actually a good photo.
Exactly. Yeah. It was funny. I went to jump up on that thing, and then I was like, oh, my arms aren't strong enough like they used to be. So it told me I better get back into the gym because I used to be able to lift myself up and I couldn't as soon as my feet were off the ground. I was like, whoa. So I went down the other end and then moved myself along.
Now, you were telling the story about the little rays of sun and that type of thing. And this is
Yeah.
over here, right?
Yeah, this is where I found my halo on Signal Hill.
I know. Posted it and said, Janis is an angel.
Yeah.
That was ingenious. That was a smart photo. That's actual natural light and the whole bit.
Yeah, it was all natural, no photoshopping.
That's good. That's good. Okay. So let's go. Janis, we can keep going if you want. And or unless
No,
you wanna go
let's end off here and then we'll do the rest next week.
Okay, I want to tell everybody here first before we move on, right? Janice, what are you wearing right now? Your
Connection, yeah.
connection T-shirt, right? Which is our merchandise that you
Yes.
can buy at our store. There's a tab there, and you can send it to friends and people and all that. Well, I have my new drink cup here is a Connection stainless steel drink thing, like a thermos
Well,
with
that's
a
great.
stainless steel straw. And that also has the Connection logo on it. And there's a link down below if you want to order one. But it's really great. Keeps your drinks either hot or cold. And so that's my little new merchandise item that we have in regard to Connection. I just wanted to show everybody that.
Good job.
Okay, great. If anybody's got any questions you want to ask real quick, we can do that. But we want to thank everybody for being here for sure, because we really appreciate that. Please subscribe to our channel, of course. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification button. It helps us get out the word. If you have any questions or comments on this, we're going to do another video, another live next week, because Janice has more stories and more things to show about Africa, so you can see it then. But if you've got any questions or comments, ask below and then we'll answer them on the next one. If you want to support our channel, you can buy us a coffee. There's a link in the description. You can do that. Just click on that there. Or if you want to become a member of our channel, you can click on the join button. Either one of our channels, the Scientology Peeling the Onion or Las Vegas Travel and More. It's on the home page of the YouTube channel page. There's a join button right next to subscribe. Just click on that. There's a little video that explains how it works. And if you'd like to become a member, please do so. And we appreciate the support from the people who already are members for us. Okay, Janice, have you got anything else you wanted to say before we end off?
Well, there's a couple of questions here.
Oh, okay.
Questions, because here Pam just asked, what is your next vacation, Janice?
She's always going somewhere. I stay home.
Already booked. I'm doing the Panama Canal. I'm doing a cruise, 21-day cruise from Seattle down through the Panama Canal, through Costa Rica to Miami. And so that's my next one in October. And then I'm planning one to Ireland. Goes to Ireland, both islands in Ireland.
Ireland
and Scotland. So I'm planning that for next September.
I'm going to try and go on that one. That one I'm going to try and go on. I'd love to go to Ireland and Scotland.
Yeah. And then I'm trying to find, I saw it somewhere and I've got to take the time and find it, because there's a road trip through New Zealand from the North Island to the South Island. And I want to do that. So I got to figure that one in somewhere.
Yeah. And I'm hoping to go to Hawaii soon. It's been several years since I've been there, but I want to go back, but we'll be working that out here soon, going into the fall. We're just finishing up the summertime here. And anyway, that's what we've got going on. But again, I just want to thank everybody for being here. We really appreciate the support for Janice and I on both of our channels. We appreciate our loyal viewers, our members, and all that. And we enjoy making these videos and sharing this stuff with you, and we hope you all enjoy it as well. Janice, if you got anything else you'd like to say here before we end off?
Just everyone have a good week and take care. And don't forget to connect. If you have people in Scientology or any cult, or people who are not in touch with you and disconnected for some reason, get in touch. Show them you love them.
Send them a connection gift.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody. Until next time, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.